All right, boys. This is the beginning of the adventure. Taking over Aston Martin and winning the championship in F1 Manager with Lance Stroll and Nicholas Goatifi, aka the Poutine Boys. So I'm going to set myself the goal of winning both driver and constructor with both Lance and Nicky as my drivers, and I'm going to do it within 3 seasons. Or maybe not, based on how this first video goes, because I'm not going to lie, this was absolutely awful. Just absolutely awful. I'm going to try and keep it as in-universe realistic as possible, but also there will be memes.
Formula One, a sport that
Yeah,
spans
skip.
hearts, minds,
Skip.
and nations.
So, first step, choose a team. Obviously Aston Martin. And I need an in-universe explanation as to why I'm taking over the team. And in my head, Lawrence Stroll, while he's happy with Mike's 1 season here, I think he probably wants a team principal with a more professional sounding name. You've got to think that, this is a guy who just hired Fernando Alonso just because he's a world champion. The most important thing, I think, to Lawrence is just absolute ironclad credibility. So, unfortunately, my crack just doesn't sound very good, does it? And so we're going to have to say goodbye to my crack, onto a new professional era of Formula One. Not going to need a tutorial on this one, so that can be disabled, as is the team principal. Into the first few actions of the game. Now, again, I want to try and keep this uber realistic. Strategy for this season is probably just throw everything at next season, because the car is absolutely shocking. Car analysis here revealing that we are worse on average at everything across the grid. Also, if I pick a team we might actually want to compete with at some point during this season, I don't know, say Alpine. Yep, worse than them at absolutely everything. How about Haas? Maybe, no. Haas are absolutely rinsing us on every stat yet again. So, projects time. Kick off with beefy new underfloor. Throw some hours at it. Throw some wind tunnel time. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think if you move the sliders to the east, then that's good, because everything is green, and green is good. So pretty sure this is exactly how actual F1 teams do this. I'd probably have a few more sliders, maybe 2 more sliders when they do it. I would imagine. So we want to chuck a few engineers on this. We probably don't need to rush this, but that'll be a nice major upgrade when it lands. That will help propel Lance somewhere closer to the midfield, ideally. And the other thing probably to do is to just upgrade the development centre nice and early, or the design centre nice and early, so that there can be lots of simultaneous upgrades in progress. Time for our first major decision. Lawrence, can we have some budget to spend on a party, please? Okay, well, I suppose we haven't won anything yet, have we? That's fair. Can I use the money to just spend on Lance winning? Okay. So say we all. Checking finances, really looking as if I know what I'm doing. Look at the way I'm just hovering over options. Clearly, just levels of deliberation happening in a split second that would require hours of explanation, really. And you can go into practice and get them both out on track. So the whole point of practice is basically choose a setup, get the little bars inside the big green bars,
clear.
Tweak the setups, send the drivers out for a few laps, get the feedback, tweak the setups again. The little blue area shrinks. You'll see what I mean in a second. In fact, let's skip to the part where they come back in after a few laps out on track.
What's your thoughts, Sebastian, on coming in or doing any more?
Car was good.
Yeah, copy that.
You're welcome, Sebastian. You're welcome. All in a day's work, my friend. Don't you worry. Right, so Lance is coming back in from his run. You can see there the blue lines kind of shrink to show you the narrowing window of where you're trying to get everything to be. So skip a bit, playing around with the settings, see, send him back out, on the same tyres, 17 more laps, see how he does. In he comes. Definitely further inside this time.
That's what she said.
So here it's right at the end. There's like 3 seconds left in FP1. I've put Lance out with basically no fuel, and he's doing kind of like a quali sim. So he's got no fuel in the car. All of his stats maxed out to push. He reported his setup was good. Let's see what he can do on a pair of soft tyres. See if we jump on board. Oh baby. And that's not even sped up. I know it says 2 times, but that's actually 1 time. That's just how good Lance is at driving cars round things. Look at that, purple sector 1. Purple sector 2. I should probably point out that, again, he's got no fuel in the car. It's the very end of the session when everything's rubbered in, and this is so far from representative. I feel like the police should be involved. It's fraudulent. I'm not calling Lance a fraud, obviously, Papa Lawrence. I'm just managing expectations here as Sir Lancelot comes home to take the first session of this season and set the fastest lap. Or maybe he is the greatest of all time. I'm not sure. It's really a toss-up.
Radio check.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, it's green now.
As we fast forward to the beginning of Seb's flying lap. Delicious little toe from Seb. Thank you. And he is 1.2 seconds off the pace. The pace of what is definitely not the fastest car on track. This is worrying. Meanwhile, Sir Lancelot, he gets stuck in traffic behind, I think, Yuki Tsunoda, which means he loses a lot of time and unfortunately is 5/10 off of his teammate. Not the best start. So both cars coming back in, chuck a fresh set of limp tyres on each of the cars, and then fast forward to the very end of Q1 when the track is the absolute most rubbered in. We go out with the big procession of cars that always goes out at the end of qualifying, hopefully get a nice clear run, and I think at least Sebastian should have a chance of getting out of Q1's elimination zone. He has much better stats than Lance Stroll. So I'm really putting all of my eggs here in the Vettel basket. I've actually sent him out in front, and just skipping ahead to the beginning of the flying lap there, you can see Sebastian Vettel on the right hand side of the screen coming down into the last corner to start his lap, and oh dear. That's fuck. Is Lance okay? Yep, Lance got through okay. Yeah, we don't need to see a replay of that, Crofty. Thank you very much. Where Seb's parked the car, he hasn't actually started his flying lap yet. So as long as he gets across that line before the time turns to 0, which is still 37 seconds, he can still do a lap, but with an awful run-up. So his first sector is going to be awful. He ain't getting out of the elimination zone, is he? Max setting a purple first sector. Beautifully, Tsunoda and Latifi both improving, which is absolutely not what anyone wants right now. And that looks very slow from Seb. Very, very slow indeed. Can maybe Lance improve in the middle sector? As you look over at his timings to the bottom right hand side of the screen. Come on, Stroll. Oh no, this is Stroll we're on board with. As he finishes the second sector, please improve. He improves. And Tsunoda's put himself up into P13, so that's not good. We need a barnstorming third sector from Lance here. I believe in Sir Lancelot. I really think he's going to go to 5th. Watch this. Look how good this last sector is. And Stroll comes across the line to finish 18th, exactly where he belongs. Never thought he could do any better than that. And that's qualifying over. There's no way Seb's going to do anything. He's not improved in the middle sector either. So out of just frustration and anger, I'm just going to fast forward it. Both knocked out in Q1. It's dire. This could not be a worse start to the season, but it's a long season.
With the teams and drivers.
Okay, so starting with the strategy here, going to go mediums and hards. It's a one-stop for both cars. All of the rest of the grid are going to be starting on softs and doing a two-stop. I think they're all going soft, medium, soft, or soft, hard, soft. But they're all starting on the soft tyres, so we're going to be on the medium. It's going to be pretty much impossible to do anything. Set both of the cars to be a bit aggressive at the start, have them deploy ERS for overtake at the beginning, and see what happens.
And this is it. The Bahrain Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
So off the start, I think we immediately get the position back from the Williams to take 17th and 18th. Again, you can see every single car apart from us on the... Oh, that's embarrassing. Every single car apart from us on the soft tyres as the race starts. Right, I know you're all going to hate me for this, but I'm letting Stroll through. This is all about Papa Lawrence. He wants his boy to be the lead car, so Seb will make way.
It's a collision. Here's the replay. Now, just watch the Mercedes here.
So this incident here is fairly important to the race because this is what puts George Russell behind us for much of it.
They'll have felt that.
So Gasly and Russell behind us now because of that crash, but Gasly, you can see, quickly retakes his position. So time to set both cars to just recharge the batteries, take it easy on the tyres. We're on a different strategy, trying the one stop, see if it will work. Spoiler alert, it really doesn't. So you can see here, I'm just showing the tyre wear at the moment. Everyone pretty much started on the softs. A couple of cars already pitted in, but fast forward to where we are, P12 and P13. This is the furthest we got up the grid and approaching the pit window for our cars, who are currently performing better than expected, so I can tell them to push a bit more on tyres. Now here you can see Sebastian is already coming under pressure from Vettel, who's already pitted at this point onto better tyres in a better car. So we give Seb a little bit of battery deployment for defending and tell him to get the hell in. We need a really good in-lap from Seb, but it's going to be really hard to defend against this McLaren as they go side by side into turn one. And Daniel makes the move stick, annoyingly. But then Seb gets him back using DRS on the next straight. And I've just realised, sorry, it's Lance Stroll that's pitting this lap because he's the number one driver, of course, so he gets the preferred treatment. So looking from Lance's vantage point, he pits, leaving his teammate Sebastian to fight Daniel on track, and then multiple cars have crashed. There is a virtual safety car. So Lance will technically now already be sort of benefiting from this, but won't get the full benefit because he was already in the pit when the virtual safety car started. But what we need is Seb to take advantage of this. It's right in our pit window.
Let's have another look. Science is the focus here.
And this was the cause. Just Ferrari doing Ferrari things. That was
Really
pathetic.
see the contact there, and that caused a lot of damage.
So we just need this VSC to stay out as long as possible so that Daniel can get in and benefit from it. And that might help us not finish 17th and 18th. I was extremely tense at this point because this is the only olive branch that this bloody weekend offered me. And the virtual safety car ended just before Seb got into the pit lane. So green flag racing, in comes the green car. Fuck's sake. So going to fast forward this boring part of the race now until some of the cars in front of us come in for their second stop. I think Mick Schumacher will be the first to do that. So with all of those pits out of the way with, there's then a fight towards the end between Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll, and this double overtake from Pierre Gasly was delightful, so I'll just leave it in without me twittering. Ah, he's going to tell Lawrence, isn't he?
Alpha Tower, he gained a place. We can take a look now. Now look at this, it's Pierre Gasly.
I mean, really looking at this, Lance could have capitalised and slipped back past Mick. The two of them did battle back and forth towards the end, so there was arguably an extra position on the cards, but yeah, it didn't end that way. You can see here, coming into the final phase of the race, basically where we started, albeit reclaiming that one position from the Williams. And thus ends a god-awful race weekend at Aston Martin.